So hi guys, welcome to the unique selling proposition video. So far we've looked at skills, we've looked at mitigation strategies for those skills or areas where you're not so good at, and we've looked at examples of really strong professional brands. So unique selling proposition, or USP for short, it's a marketing concept, and companies spend millions really getting it out. What is it? It's a very short, sharp branding statement that people associate with you, and companies use it very effectively. So let's go through some examples. Avis, the rental car company. They had a USP a few years back now. It was, we're second, we try harder. That was it. It was competing with Hertz, the rental car company, and it wanted to show that it would do more to please customers. And it worked. Customers who heard that went to Avis because they thought Avis would make their life easier for them. Another one is Coca-Cola, the original. Pepsi has spent millions trying to undo that. But what Coke wanted to portray was that it was the first and original cola. A few other ones. Federal Express. A really popular one was when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. And the last one is Disney, the happiest place on earth. So when you hear this, you can see how powerful a USP can be and how much opportunity it can bring to you if done right. When it comes to you and your USP, it can be a few sentences long. It doesn't have to be 10 words like the companies, but it's something that you can use very quickly as an introduction, let's say at an interview, or in your resume, or in your CV, that sets you apart and sends a very strong message to the employer, to the HR person, to the recruiter, or even to a CEO. Let's say you meet in an elevator and you want to convey a really strong impression. So how do you go about crafting a USP? So you ask yourself, what is the one thing that makes me unique? What makes me better than other candidates applying for a similar position with the company? What can I offer that no other candidate can? When you craft your USP, you want to keep it to about 4 sentences. And keep the following rules in mind. It's stated in very clear terms and is easily understandable. It should be understood by a 14-year-old. It has to be believable and authentic. Be really honest. It also should emphasize some unique benefit that you can provide better than others. And this is the most important point. It's got to be about the benefit that you can bring the other person or the other company. Always make it about them, not you. So remember guys, if you can't sell or market yourself, and if there's nothing that you think stands you above other people, then there's no way you can convince HR or your hiring manager that you should be hired or that you're different. It's something that you need to believe and portray. So we borrowed from Harvard Business School to create a 1-minute pitch builder, or a USP builder. They have 4 sentences, and they ask you to answer those 4 sentences to come up with something that's unique, that portrays something about you. Now in your first go, you're not going to get it, but keep trying, make an attempt, and eventually you'll get there. After you've got it, practice. It's going to feel weird, unnatural, because you've never done it before. But ask for feedback from people. Pitch it to your friends. Pitch it at possible interviews, and if it doesn't work, ask for feedback. But let's go through the 4 steps now. So what would you want the listener to remember about you? You've got to focus on what drives you, what is important to you, and your strongest strength or skill. State your value and use results and impact. Make it about them and how you add value to them. Focus on one thing, your best attribute. 3rd step is to describe how you're different from others. And the last one is to describe your immediate goals. Now the goal should be concrete, defined, and realistic. So on the screen now you can see a few examples. Let's say you're a teacher and you're applying for a high school teaching position. Here is an example of a USP we put together. So I strive to be the best teacher in Australia. And you want to say this if you mean it. I look forward to working in a school that enables me to bring the absolute best out of my students through my hard work and passion. I'm different to other candidates because in my practical assessment, I, working with my supervisor, improved test results by 50%. My 3-year goal is to complete a master's in education and enable students through teaching to lead lives of success. Now let's go through another example. Let's say you want to apply for a graduate position in a law firm. You might say something like this. So since I can remember, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. And we actually got that phrase from a workshop we did at a university. Then you can say, I seek to work in a law firm that enables me to give people a chance at understanding the law instead of being intimidated by it. I have over 3 years of criminal law experience working as a paralegal, working with clients, drafting legal documents, and working with court procedures. In 3 years, I seek to be a qualified solicitor, working in a progressive law firm, building strong long-term client relationships, and giving back to the community. So those were just some examples of possible USPs you can put together. Once again, you're never going to get it right the first time, but you really got to get started. So once you have identified your USP and you're quite confident with it, you've had a bit of practice, what you then want to do is to start using it in your career job hunting materials. So let's say in an interview, you get the question, tell me about yourself, or tell me something about you, which they normally ask. You can then talk about your USP or put it forward. You really don't want to sound like it's rote learned. You want to customize it and make sure it comes across as authentic. You can also use it in your cover letter, in the body of the cover letter, or in the career objectives of a resume. Once again, finally, it's got to be short and sharp, and it's got to convey something about you that will stand you above everybody else. Employers are looking for candidates or grads who are quite determined and sure of themselves. And having a really great USP is a wonderful way of showing that. And the only way you're going to be comfortable of using it is to practice it. Try it with a friend, try it in front of a mirror, film it on an iPhone, and see how you come across.